Hello and welcome back to the Motorsport podcast. I'm your host DD, and joining me today once again is my friend and your co-host Vedant. On this episode, we'll be talking about the race at in Portland for Indycar. So let's grab some chai, take our seats, ready opinions, and dive right into the conversation. Vedant, five and then five remain with one more round to go. The finale at Laguna Seca. Scotty Mac said he will be challenging for the title until the last race, and guess what? He is. He is still mathematically in the title fight, but it's going to take a little more than just winning the next race in Laguna Seca to really bring it home. But what are your thoughts on the race that happened this past weekend?
Yeah, I think it was a good one. I think Scott McLaughlin did pretty well for himself. Yeah, by staying in contention for the title by winning the race and taking pole. But I think, interesting race. I watched a lot of it, not the entire race, because obviously it was very late in India. I was half aware of what was going on, and then I fell asleep. But yeah, I like watching IndyCar as much as I can, and it was entertaining while I watched it.
Yeah, sadly, we lost the title defender Alex Palou. He's no more in the championship race after a disappointing result last time out. But I mean, I don't think there's a point in looking back and really analyzing what happened on Sunday.
Yeah,
Yes, Scott McLaughlin dominated the race, finished first. Will Power, Will Power finished second. Scott Dixon third.
Scott
And
Dixon
now,
finished third after starting outside of the top 10. He started top
yeah, exactly.
13 or 14, something like that.
But again, not the first time.
Not the first time,
We've
yeah.
discussed this.
Absolutely.
We've discussed this the entire season.
Yeah.
This is what Scott Dixon does. Does not qualify well and then finishes in the top five. And then, unfortunately for Joseph Newgarden, who was just 3 points behind Will Power, a disappointing P8 at the road course. And now, as it stands, obviously we have Will Power who's leading the championship still with 523 points, and then Joseph Newgarden and Scott Dixon with 503 points each, 20 points behind Will Power, and then we have Marcus Ericsson and Scott McLaughlin under 22 points behind. This is going to be interesting, because besides Will Power, if Will Power finishes in the top five, there is no stopping him. So if anyone else is to win the championship this upcoming weekend, Will Power has to finish outside the top five for sure. Otherwise, Joseph Newgarden, Scott Dixon, Marcus, and Scott McLaughlin can all just say goodbye to their dreams and hopes of winning the championship this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a high chance of that happening. We have seen how Will Power operates, especially in tight situations like these, right? But I think my money is on, not my money, but today while reviewing the race, while reading about the race, I was just imagining Scott Dixon qualifies again P13, 14, 15, something like that. Goes on to win the race and wins the championship with it. That would be a story, right?
I'll tell you what a better story will be. I'll tell you what a better story will be. A better story will be Scotty McLaughlin winning the championship.
Well, that would be the best
That
story.
will be a better story.
That would be the best story. But for that to happen, if that happens, there will be a lot of stories, because Will Power and Scott Dixon and all these guys Newgarden will have to basically DNF, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So that's
But I mean, that is what I'm wishing for,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I really want to see the Thirsty 3 camp win. I really want to see Scotty McLaughlin take that championship. Come on, you can't be. I mean, even if the four, the top four lose, they can't be mad at Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah.
You just can't do that.
Absolutely no. And I mean, it would just go and show that IndyCar is as competitive as anything else, but at the same time, each motorsport is as unique and as competitive as anything else. like who could have imagined someone from Aussie supercars to come into IndyCar and win a championship in their second season? It is unheard of, it is unfathomable, and for that to happen, it would be a great day for motorsport in general. And Formula One can go, you know, sit in the corner of shame or somewhere.
I mean, the Formula One season is over. Like we've talked, before. Like after the IndyCar season gets over, the only season that remains to be decided in like the upper echelons of motorsport is probably the MotoGP title, and that is about it.
Yep.
And so the IndyCar title is really the last bit of entertainment, one of the last bits of entertainment in motorsport this year. If you really think about it, and I am really excited for this upcoming Sunday.
And
But now looking back, sorry, go ahead.
and for the finale to be at Laguna Seca, what better place to be? Imagine
And,
imagine
I'm-
a championship deciding move on the corkscrew. Yeah.
Imagine.
Imagine.
Imagine doing what I think it was Roman Grosjean last year on Jimmy Johnson. He put a move
Yeah, yeah.
Through, on him through corkscrew.
Yep.
Doing that for the
For the
championship.
champ.
What a moment! What a moment! But I'm looking at results from last year, and the race winner was Colton Herta. I think the next finisher was Alex Palou, and then we had Roman Grosjean who finished third, I believe. Um, so goes to show there could be some there could be other people who could join the party and possibly spoil it for the top four contenders, make it really hard for them if the results from the past year is anything to go by.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be.
But
Yep.
but willpower won in Laguna Seca in 2020. So again, like I said, willpower on road courses is willpower. There's no shying away from that, and he is the top runner, regardless of what is happening or what anyone else is doing. In my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Willpower has been consistent throughout the season. He has been in the fight throughout the season, like fighting every race and everything. Uh, Marcus Ericsson is there because he won the Indy 500. Basically, other than that, his performances have not been that good. Scott McLaughlin has had his ups and downs, and for Joseph Newgarden and Scott Dixon, well, they have performed as everyone would expect of them, and these the top three drivers have just performed at their own level, at the level everyone expects of them, right?
But here's the thing. Willpower going into the championship finale is 20 points ahead of Joseph Newgarden, right? And Scott Dixon is on the same number of points as Joseph Newgarden. But guess how many wins each of them have? If you don't already know that.
Yeah, they have each one win, right?
No. So Willpower and Scott Dixon have a win each. Scott Dixon has 2 wins this season. Willpower has just the 1 win, but Joseph Newgarden has 5,
Yeah.
but he's still 20 points behind Willpower, and that is a stat. And I think it will be some. I mean, it'll be another record if Willpower goes on to win with just with just 1 win to his name the entire season.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be some sort of
Yeah.
record too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to talk about. There's a lot of excitement, but not a whole lot to talk about. It's boiled down to the final race. In my opinion, there's no point looking back and really analyzing what happened on Sunday. It's just down to the last 5 and to Lady Luck, to make sure that none of them have a DNF, a mechanical DNF of sorts, at least during the race or before the race even.
Yeah, it's going to be a very heated environment because it's Ganassi versus Penske, it's Penske versus Penske, and it's everything in between, and it's not it's not a young driver versus an old driver and a rivalry and a building up rivalry or whatever. These are 3 drivers who have established themselves in IndyCar for the past so many seasons, right? And I think this is Scott Dixon's 21st or 22nd seasons, something like that. And these are all established names in IndyCar. And after, last season, Alex Palou won the championship, and we were all right. This is, at least I was. This is the time of the new younger drivers and all that. But these three have yet again proven that they are here to stay. They are the biggest names in IndyCar right now in terms of competitiveness, in terms of championship favorites and whatnot. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting.
Yep. Let's before we wrap up, let's also look at the other championship that we have in IndyCar. Obviously it's not talked about as much in motorsport circles, except in the American motorsport circle, and that is the Rookie of the Year championship in IndyCar. Christian Lundgaard holds a 5 point lead over David Malukas going into the last race. David Malukas has been the higher, I think David Malukas has like 60 points over the last two races, whereas Christian Lundgaard has only managed 20
Yeah.
or so. So yeah, again, another championship, two championships
Yeah.
getting being decided this Sunday. I mean, what more could you ask for, really? As a motorsport fan, you tune into one race and you see two championships being decided on the same day on the same piece of tarmac. And I mean, this is what F1 was like last year, and but this is how IndyCar seems to be like every year, and couldn't be more excited for it. And I mean, I'm almost sad that I didn't find IndyCar earlier in life, and I put myself through being a Ferrari fan and watching F1 for the longest time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm very lucky in that regard because I will have to wait in my, like, while I'm waiting for my security and immigration, and at the gate, I will have IndyCar to entertain me. So, yeah, that is going to be
Yeah, maybe.
fun.
Yeah, maybe after you go to the UK, you can talk some sense into the folks out there who don't know what IndyCar and IndyCar teams and drivers are about.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Uh,
mean, IndyCar is super awesome, and I'm pretty, like, not blessed or whatever, but I'm pretty happy with myself.
Hashtag blessed.
I'm pretty happy with myself that I followed this season throughout. Like, obviously, I couldn't watch all the races because of the time difference, and I couldn't follow all the races properly. But again, it was a good season to follow, and it was a fun one to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I haven't had so much fun watching motorsports as I did watching IndyCar
Yeah,
this season.
absolutely.
It's been an absolute blast. There have been quite a few championship leaders. There was a time when we were all rooting for Scott McLaughlin after the first couple of races. Then it was Marcus
Yeah.
Ericsson after the Indy 500, and now it seems like Will Power's gonna win, but still rooting for Scotty Mack out here. Hopefully, the top four at least, or the top three DNF, and then it's Marcus Ericsson versus Scott McLaughlin. But they also have to beat Colton Herta to really take the win.
Yeah.
But yeah, and IndyCar might be losing Colton Herta like we talked about on the F1 podcast. So that'll be a big blow for IndyCar in my opinion. I don't think IndyCar, the paddock, will want to lose Colton Herta to F1. Yes, he hasn't challenged for a title, but his talent is undisputed. No one questions his talent except obviously people who don't know about
Yeah.
him. But here we're talking about the IndyCar paddock, and it. I mean, IndyCar is very competitive, but it'll be a little less competitive with Colton Herta not in the paddock if he were to switch and join AlphaTauri over in F1.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a interesting fall and winter for Colton Herta and AlphaTauri to make those decisions. But yeah, let's see how that goes. But
Yeah, and even a bigger blow for someone like Andretti,
oh yeah,
Autosport.
yes.
But again, that begs the question. Would is there a backdoor deal that Andretti has? Because if you read the article from the race, that talks about the Porsche Red Bull deal that is falling apart basically, and the and the consequences of that on the ownership, because apparently, I can't pronounce his name, but the guy who owns the Red Bull, sort of things, not the Thai family, but the Dutch person,
The yeah,
Mateschitz.
he's
or
Austrian. He's Austrian.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, Austrian. Yeah. If it seems that he wants to get over with, he wants to sell his ownership in Red Bull, drinks and F1 alike. And the Porsche deal might just was in fact a way to let go of the Formula One side of things, and because the deal has not gone through, the teams might be separating. AlphaTauri and Red Bull might be separating. Or there might be something happening there, and it might be an opening for Andretti to buy out AlphaTauri possibly in the near future. Go check that article on the race. I thought it was a very insightful article and a lot of viewpoints that we haven't really heard of before. But again, begs the question: is this is there a backdoor deal with Andretti somewhere in there that hasn't been in the paddock rumors just yet?
Well, I'm.
Just yet.
It won't be a surprise because Andretti is a very powerful organization in motorsport, right? In terms of politics, like obviously they couldn't get the Formula One entry, but they are still the most renowned and the most respected organization in motorsport, and they have connections everywhere. They definitely have connections everywhere. So yeah.
Well, clearly not with
Yeah.
Toto Wolff.
Well, yeah.
But regardless, yeah, I'm excited for what Sunday has to bring this week in IndyCar, and can't wait for it. Yeah, the following Sundays will be a little less, competitive in a way, because all we'll have to look forward to is F1 and a bit of MotoGP. But yeah, as always, we'll catch you on the next one.